Hey, 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 party people. It's Brandi and Cesley, and we're back with Blooming Through Faith, the podcast that helps you grow and bloom in your mindset, lifestyle, health, and wealth. We want you to know that you are capable, beautiful, and worthy. If you're listening to us today, we believe that God has something specific for your heart because we're diving into a topic that we all face: hard seasons. Those times when life feels heavy, you feel tired, you feel stuck, or maybe you even wonder if God's in it at all. Let us tell you this up front. You are not alone, and this season will not last forever. Today, we're going to talk about how to walk through tough seasons biblically, practically, and intentionally, especially when it comes to the words that we speak over ourselves.
Amen. I think that this is such an important topic because I think so often we think, especially if you're a strong woman, especially if you are an independent woman, especially if you're a woman that has been through any sort of trauma or difficult seasons, I think when we are in a difficult season, it's really hard to first just like admit it to yourself. Like it's hard to recognize and admit that we're going through a hard season for some reason. And I think it's because we tend to look at other people when we're struggling. So when we're going through a hard season, it's really easy for us to look at other people and go like, well, why is nobody else struggling?
Mm.
Or why do they have what they have? Or they seem really okay. Like I can't be in this kind of sucky season if they are doing okay. So the first thing I want to point out is you have to recognize the season that you're in. And there's this verse in Ecclesiastes in the Bible that talks specifically about this. And it says, there is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. And I know we've talked about this before, but I think it's so interesting that like nature kind of mimics our own like personalities and our own feelings and stuff. Like, right, when it's wintertime, we kind of feel sad and we want to like be inside and be cozy. When it's summertime, we feel energized and we want to be outside. And in the wintertime, trees literally will let all their leaves fall and like conserve all their energy inward. And so I think that it's interesting that we don't think that that's okay for us. Like when you are struggling, it is okay for you to let all your leaves fall and kind of turn your energy inward. And life moves in seasons. Some of them are dry, some of them are difficult, some of them are just confusing. But in every season, there's a purpose. Even the hard ones, I would say, even especially the hard ones, there's a purpose. And so the first step is to recognize the season that you're in and give yourself permission to be honest about it. So the Bible says that the Lord is close to those who are brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. Like the Bible talks about people that are constantly crushed in spirit, brokenhearted, sad. And so you don't have to be strong for God to stay close. Like it's often in our weakest moments that he shows us the most sweet things, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense. When you were saying that, it reminded me of a quote that I actually just posted today. So I pulled it up so that I can read it because I thought it was like spot on. All right. When a butterfly is struggling to get out of the cocoon and you cut the cocoon to help it, it dies. You have to let the butterfly struggle because the struggle forces blood into the wings so they can spread them and fly. The same goes for us. The struggles we go through are necessary to make us strong enough to soar through life.
I love that. I
So
love
good.
that so much. And I think I don't know if it's just kind of like Western culture and like American culture, or if it's just like the fact that social media is so popular and everyone looks like they're living a great life on social media, but we never really give ourselves permission to just be like, I'm okay. Because if someone asks you how you're doing and you're like, I'm okay, they kind of look at you like, oh, like, I don't know what to say to that. Like, and so I think sometimes it's just okay to just be okay. Like, that's okay.
I think that's great. And I think what we're trying to do, Cecily and I, is we're trying to show up on social media even more as our authentic self, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we've been going through, some stuff, in a season. And so the last month you've seen me go on my stories and say, I'm not okay, right? And it's okay to not be okay. And like you would think on the outside looking in, because God has given, Cecily and I beautiful children, incredible husband, like new ventures in life. We're both incredibly successful right now, but it doesn't mean that past traumas or hard things don't creep up. And it doesn't mean that we can't, feel depressed sometimes or, feel emotional sometimes. Like, I feel like that's everybody. And the more that we can be authentic and show up, not just on social media, but with our friends, like Cecily said, like, hey, when you ask somebody, are you okay? And they usually say, yeah, I'm good. Or what, like when there's like, not really, or I'm just okay. We're not used to that. So when we are, meeting with coworkers, meeting with friends, meeting with family members, like, hey, how are you really doing? Give them the opportunity to open up and speak truth. And that's what I've been able to do. Like, Cecily's always my rock, right? I always tell her exactly what's going on in my life, and she prays over me. And I have so many women that I've just opened up to, and I'm like, hey, this is what I'm going through. This is hard. And
Yeah.
they listen to me, they give me great advice and pray over me. And that's what I like to do with other people too. And I think we need to do that more, right, Cecily? Like,
Yeah.
as a, what word am I looking for? As
Like
a
body of women,
whole.
a whole, as a community. Yeah.
As a whole, it's okay to not be okay.
And not just that, like, I think you made such a good point in saying, like, there's some people that you can just be real with. And it's also, you don't need to feel like you need to fix somebody if they're going through a hard time. Like, it's okay for someone to just be in a struggly season. Like, it just made me think of, even earlier today, I was planning some summer camp stuff with a really sweet friend of mine. And she's walking through this, like, kind of weird breakup sort of thing, situationship. I don't even know what you call that. I'm married. I don't know. Like,
We've been married for a long time.
I
We're
know.
out of
They
that
don't really date
situation.
now. They like they're friends, and then they like what? But anyway, so she's just going through it, and the whole morning I was like, "You're just kind of like a little gloomy. Are you okay?" And she's like, "I mean, no, I'm kind of gloomy." And I was like, "Okay." And we continued on with our lovely morning. Like, it didn't affect our afternoon together. It's okay to just be around your friends and just accepting that it's okay for someone to be not be okay, because I think that adds more pressure. I think when we say we're not okay and then our friends are like, well, maybe we can do this or maybe you should do this, like, we're very quick to want to give advice, when sometimes it's just like they're just walking through a hard season and you just have to be like, okay, we can still hang out, like Winnie the Pooh and all his friends still hung out with Eeyore even though he was sad all the time. Like, they didn't tell him, like, you got to go over there. They were like, all right, come on, Eeyore, like, you bring your sad self over here.
I love Eeyore. I also like Tigger too. Oh, Winnie the Pooh. No, that's so good. It's okay to not be okay, and then, like, you don't have to fix them. They just, and most of the time you can't fix that season and whatever is going on and you're going through. But it's nice to have a friend that you can just be open and honest with, and that safe space. And if you don't have one of those friends, or if you're not sure, I would reach out to people. You know what I mean? Because you need to have that safe space. We can't just pretend like everything's rainbows and butterflies all the time. And we say this all the time on Blooming with Faith. Most people on, Facebook, Instagram, all these things, it's a highlight
Liars.
reel. Do not compare yourself. Liars.
Liars.
You know,
so nice.
it's like they
I
are
like the liars, filthy liars.
Oh, do not compare yourself to other people's highlight reels.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so let's go to the next one. All right, first thing is, like Cecily was talking about, like, let's recognize that we're in this season and it's okay to be in this season, right? The next thing we want to do is we want to speak life, okay? This is huge. What you say matters. I hear a lot of times, what is that saying that it's like, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me? Bullshit.
Lies.
Sorry, I just cussed. I haven't been cussing too much, but it's lies. Words are hurtful. Words are so hurtful. Do you remember, like, if somebody says something mean to you when you were in middle school, high school, just yesterday, did that hurt? Because anytime somebody says something mean to me, I'm trying to be unbothered in 2025. I've been praying about it a lot, but it doesn't mean it doesn't hurt my feelings. If somebody says something not nice to me, it bothers me. Okay? Imagine, like, saying unnice things to yourself, right? The power in your words. You have the power to speak life and death over you and others, all right? So in hard times, it's so tempting. It's so tempting to speak negatively, to say things like, oh, this will never change, or this always happens to me, or I'm not enough, or I can't handle this, right? Those things, I'm sure, like, I was going to say show of hands, like I'm presenting or something.
I'll raise my hand for you.
Like, hand up, right? But, like, all of us have been there. We said that. What we want to do is we want to reword that. We want to reshape it. We want to start declaring God's truth. Even before you see the breakthrough, even before you see the light at the end of the tunnel, okay, what we're going to start saying is, I am not alone. God is with me. This season is hard, but it won't last forever. And that is so true. Looking right here, right here, right here. What is today? Today's May 21st. Do you know what my little notepad says? Can you read
What
that,
does it say?
Cecily?
No,
Can you see it? Okay, I'll read it.
Gonna
She's
give
like,
me
not
wrinkles
really.
again.
It
See?
says storms don't last forever.
Storms don't last forever.
And this season doesn't last forever, right? I am capable. I am strong. I am beautiful. When you're going through a tough time, look at your past. Look at what you've already accomplished. You've gone through so many hard times, babe. You're going to get through this too. Speak truth into yourself. You may not feel powerful, but your words can be. Speak life over yourself, over your family, over your future.
Yes.
Feelings are real, but they're not always true. You may feel like you're not enough, but God says you are fearfully and wonderfully made, and He never lies. You were created with purpose, wrapped in beauty, and filled with divine potential. Nothing about your value has changed just because this season is hard. Grow, girls.
You gave me a bunch of goosebumps. Listen, this is if there's nothing else that you take from this episode, the words that you speak over yourself are so important. It's so important that it's biblical. Like, there are things throughout the Bible that talk about word curses and words that give life. Like, God talks about words as if they give you life, literally. And so that means that what you speak out loud is an agreement that you're making either with God or with the enemy. Every time I partner with the enemy, I'm speaking words to myself like, oh, I can't do that. Oh, I have anxiety. I learned this about my kids, actually. So anytime someone's like, oh, your daughter's just really shy, I'm like, no, actually, I don't come into agreement with that. She's not shy. She just takes time to get to know people. No, we're not going to, like, even little things like that. Like, it sounds so silly, but eventually, if you speak these words over yourself over and over and over and over again, they become this like thing that you stand on. So if every day you're like, my life is just so hard. This is so hard. This is so terrible. I'm never going to be able to do this. Then guess what? You absolutely will not, because you're coming into agreement with that belief, which means you're holding hands and partnering with it. And at the end of the day, like, yes, you can walk through a hard season, but just learn to retrain your brain and how you talk about it. So like, I never like to say, oh my gosh, I'm such an anxious person. I will say, oh, I'm having anxiety about that. Like, today is a really high stress day for me, but you know what? I know what God says about me, and I know that I can get through it. And there, even just a little shift in that is a difference between speaking something over your entire self, like, I'm an anxious person. No, you're not. Maybe you have anxious moments, but you are not an anxious person. You were created exactly in all the ways that Brandi just said. You're created with purpose, with beauty, with divine potential. Like, you are not these word curses that you kind of come into agreement with. So we got to stop it.
Yeah. And when you were talking, this one quote popped into my head. If you think you can or you think you can't, you're right.
You're right. I love that.
And you know what? Do you ever tell your kids you can't?
No.
Like, and I'm not saying like, don't do that. You can't touch a hot stove. Like, obviously that's different. But like, if your kid comes to you, you know, at 5 years old and was like, mommy, I want to be a firefighter. That's my son. I'd be like,
go for it.
Let's go. Well,
Go
you
for
used to
it.
want to be a trash truck driver. I said, okay, let's go. You can do anything you want. And I will tell you this, one of the reasons why I've been so successful in my life is because my father spoke that over me. Every time I went to my father and said, hey, I'm going to do this, he goes, yes, you are. When I started the fitness company that Cesley and I, worked with, I had nothing. I had negative in my bank account. I just got out of an abusive relationship. I just moved home. I had absolutely nothing. And I looked at my dad and I was like, dude, I'm going to make 6 figures with this company. And I was sleeping on his couch and he said, yeah, girl,
Yeah, you are.
right. And so
Yeah.
the way you speak to yourself, the way you speak to your children, the way you speak to others is so important.
Yeah. And it's generational. Just like Brandi said, it's generational. You will look at somebody who's really negative and stuck in these hard seasons forever. There's a difference between being in a hard season and choosing to be stuck in it forever. And you can see the difference is generational. Like if their parents stay stuck in that kind of negative mindset, so do they, so do their children. It's so that's such a good point to think about.
What I
Okay.
want to do, it just hit me. Next episode, let's talk about being the one to break generational curses. Okay. And then we'll finish this.
We'll figure it out. You guys don't worry. I love a generational curse episode because I love to talk about this. Okay.
Because our family we love
our
you,
families are screwed up. We were the ones. And I tell my kids all the time, like, I'm not just trying to break you of stuff. I'm trying to break your children's children's children of things. Like this is 10 generations deep. Okay, listen, we talked about trees and we talked about butterflies. I'm going to talk about a seed, okay? So I want you to think about a seed. On the outside, it looks hard, it looks small, it looks unimpressive, but on the inside, it holds the potential for something huge, right? Have you ever seen those pictures of those like California red oak trees? Like those trees were once they were a teeny tiny little baby seed, okay? Just like that, like you have the potential for something so much greater because for the potential for that seed to grow and to be realized, the seed has to go through a process. It gets buried, right? So it can look very, very dark. It breaks open. It's literally destroyed in the form that it started in. Just like Brandi was talking about with the butterfly. And in that breaking, that's not the end of its life cycle. It's the beginning of its growth. And so in that same way, there are parts of us that we are holding on to, old habits, limiting beliefs, unhealthy attachments, things that we have unintentionally or maybe intentionally partnered with that have to be broken off for us to become who God created us to be. And it will feel painful and it will feel like loss because the enemy wants us to think that we really like all these things. We like our comfortability. We like our anxiety. We like the things that we hold on to, right? But what feels like loss is transformation. So you might feel really heavy right now. Maybe you feel like you're buried. Maybe you feel like this season is going to last forever, but you're not buried. You are just planted. All right. So we really want you to think of these hard seasons as the opportunity for God to use this season to break off whatever is holding you back and grow you into what He's planted inside of you. Like, could you imagine all the beautiful flowers that you see, these giant trees, if they were just like, we refuse to change. We want to be a seed forever. Like on the other side of that growth is so much beauty and strength and things that like you could never even imagine for yourself. And I think a lot of times what we would think of as the proper time for us to do something is not God's timing. So we might think like this season feels really hard. This season feels like it's lasting a long time, but your current season is not your final sentence. Like don't let your feelings get in the way of convincing you that God's promises are not on time. God is always on time with His promises. We are the ones that are impatient. So you have to remember that just because it's hard doesn't mean that God isn't in it. There's so much that He is doing. I mean, He does His deepest, hardest work in our hard seasons. Like you were made to move mountains. You were made to bring light, to speak life, and no storm has the power to cancel that. So we want to encourage you really to not shrink back when you're going through a hard season. Like walk through the hard, thick things because the enemy will try to convince you that you have to retreat. The enemy wants you backtracking, right? So when you're in a hard season, he wants to convince you that you're too broken, that it's too late, you're too far gone, you don't have the right, you don't have enough money in your bank account, you aren't pretty enough, you aren't good enough, you aren't healthy enough, you're not inspiring enough, right? These are all the things that he wants you to think. But God calls you chosen, He calls you capable, and He has called you to something. And so He has called you right now where you are, and all the things that need to be broken off from you, He's going to do that. Like that's not for you to worry about. You're not just surviving this season. Like we are sowing the harvest, okay? The harvest is coming in your life, and it's going to be so, so worth it if you can just keep your eye on what God says about you and not let the enemy bring you into retreat.
Mm. So I had to mute myself at some point in there for a second because I kept finding myself going, yeah. And I'm like, when I
I know
listen
when
to
you were
the
talking, I kept going, yes, yes. I did not mute myself though. You guys will all hear me.
trying to do better at that. Oh my gosh, Cecily, there were so many good nuggets in there. So I kind of want to repeat because I wrote these down. These stuck out to me, right? Just because it's a hard season doesn't mean God is not in it, right? The enemy, this one, the enemy wants you to backtrack. Did you hear what Cecily just said? And that's why so many people self-sabotage and we don't believe in ourselves and we go up and then we go back and then we go up and we go back and we go because that's what the enemy wants, right? And then this one was this season isn't your final sentence. And I was like,
Mhm.
oh, so good. Oh my gosh. You guys might have to go back and listen to this one. There's so many good nuggets.
Yeah,
And what
put
is
it on
so
repeat.
crazy, anytime Cecily and I do a podcast episode that like
It's true.
before, it took us 30 minutes to get on this app because she was
Yeah.
frozen. And actually, I'm going to put it on my Instagram right now. Like her faces, her little mean faces is frozen. It was so funny.
I only freeze in the worst faces.
It's the worst. It's so funny. Or something happens. I feel like it's the most impactful episodes when, things happen. It took us 30 minutes to get on. And guess what? We're like, we doing it. We gonna make it happen somehow, even if we got to jump on Zoom together. So we're gonna wrap it up. We're gonna land this plane. But man, if you didn't take notes, take notes. Okay. So actually get your notepad, get it out now. All right. So the next thing we're going to talk about is practical tools for hard seasons. Okay. So let's talk about things you can actually do to stay healthy mentally, emotionally, and spiritually during hard seasons. Because a lot of times we want to just give up. We want to just stay in bed. We want to just drink and numb ourselves, right? We want to make all of the excuses in the world and we don't want to move forward in those hard seasons. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to start with scripture and prayer. Okay. Even if it's 5 minutes, start your day, journal a quick prayer. Don't aim for perfection. Just show up. God honors consistency more than performance. So Cecily, don't you have an app? Don't you have a devotional app that you use when you go on a walk?
No.
Well, you used to, but now
You're like, maybe I thought you did. I mean, like, I have my Bible app that I listen to,
Do you know who got this for me?
for you.
This is what I try to
Love
do
that
every single
devotional.
morning when I
Yeah.
do my gratitude journal. I do my devotionals that Cecily sent to me, right? It doesn't have to be long, but that is what we want you guys to do each morning when you're feeling like you're in that season. I would do it every morning in general because it's just going to start your day right? Starting your day with God, starting your day with gratitude. That's what's going to help you break through and also continue to move forward in your journey. All right, you guys. Number 2, move your body. All right. So exercise isn't just for fitness. It helps your mind. If you follow me at all on social media, you'll see that I say I exercise for my mental health. Not to look good in a bikini, for my mental health also, so that I can, be strong and healthy and live longer for my kids and grandkids and all of that stuff, right? So go for a walk, do some stretching, do some yoga, dance to worship music, dance to your favorite music. It releases stress and can literally shift your emotional state. Your body needs movement. It's like, we said this in a podcast before too, but it's like, you get natural endorphins. And what is that? Legally Blonde. It's like, happy people
Endorphins
just
make you happy. Happy people just don't kill their husbands.
100%, right? So it's going to get you into a better mental state.
And it's true.
Yeah. Move your body. All right. Especially when you're feeling stuck. Number 3, I've been setting better boundaries. Cecily,
Look
you'd be
at
so
you.
proud of me. Way less time with negative people. All right. So that's what we're going to do. Number 3, we are going to limit time with negative people. This may be tough, especially if it's family, but it is crucial. Protect your peace. If somebody is constantly draining your energy, if somebody's constantly complaining or pulls you away from God's truth, it's okay to create it's okay to create those boundaries, okay? Jesus often withdrew from the crowd to pray and to recharge. you can too. And Cecily talks about this a little bit more in detail in one of our past episodes where we talk about how it is okay and how it's important to spend time alone. Okay. Number 4, find positive input. Surround yourself with life-giving voices, podcasts, worship music, devotionals, a solid friend who speaks truth into you, right? Faith
That's
comes
me
by
and you.
Yes, exactly. And that's what we talked about earlier today is like, hey, I messaged Cecily and she speaks truth into me, right? Vice versa. That's who you need to
Mhm.
be surrounding yourself with, right? Faith comes by hearing what you are hearing every day. All right. So you need to surround yourself and sit at the right tables with people who believe in you, people who love you, people who speak truth over you, right? That is really important, and limit time with negative people. Number 5, rest without guilt. And Cecily says this a lot. Rest is really hard for anybody who's gone through trauma. It's like
Yeah.
when we feel
I
like
think we're
when
gonna get
we're
in
giving
trouble.
ourselves rest, yeah, we feel like we're slacking or we're not doing enough or whatever the circumstances are. But really, rest is so important. All right, hard. The, you were changing something, and I was like, "What's going on here?" Okay, wait a second. Where were we at? Okay. Rest without guilt. Hard seasons are emotionally and spiritually draining. Prioritize rest. Take a nap. Say no to something. Turn your phone off. Rest isn't weakness, it's necessary. Now, turning your phone off is a big thing, especially in this world where we're constantly on social media. And I know a lot of our girlfriends, we actually work online, right? And so, literally, if you're feeling like anxious, you're feeling different things, you're in this season, you're like, I don't even know what to turn your phone off. Go spend time with your family. Go spend time alone. Go find that special area of your house. Pray, breathe, be. But yes, rest is necessary. And then the last one, and then Cecily is going to land this plane for us, is serve someone else. Okay. This might seem like an opposite thought, but serving others gets your eyes off your own pain and reminds you that through everything, you still have purpose. Even a small act, sending an encouraging message or praying for someone can shift your whole perspective.
I love that. I especially love that last one because I think it is really hard to throw yourself a pity party when you're serving someone else. And I think a lot of times we mistake our feelings for truth about ourselves. And then all of a sudden we get like in this like weird self-wallowy place. And it is okay to be in a hard season, but don't wallow in it. Definitely don't wallow in it. So if this episode spoke to you at all today, here's what I encourage you to do. I want you to write down 3 scriptures and positive things that remind you of hope. Okay. Maybe it's a quote you saw. Brandi named about 3 or 4 of them you can write down from today's episode. Okay. Scriptures, positive quotes, things that remind you of hope. Okay. I want you to speak one positive, truth filled affirmation over yourself every morning this week. And this week, I want you to limit one negative influence and replace it with one positive voice. I want you to remember that God is for you. He sees you. He is working in your waiting season. Do not speak defeat over yourself when God has already declared a victory. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not too late, and you are not too far gone. You are a masterpiece in progress. You're being shaped by the loving hands of the Creator Himself. And even in your hardest seasons, even when you don't feel strong or confident or like you've got it all together, you have to remember that you're still full of purpose, still full of light, and still full of possibility. I want you to listen to these words very carefully and really try to soak them in. There is greatness in you. There is beauty in you. There is resilience in you. And yes, there is sparkle in you that no storm can take away. God did not make a mistake when He made you. He didn't overlook anything. Every single thing about you was crafted with intention. So even now, and especially now, We want you to walk with your head held high because you carry the light of heaven inside of you. We want you to speak life over yourself this week. We want you to nourish your soul, move your body, protect your peace, and never forget that you are beautiful, you are capable, you are worthy, and we can't wait to watch you grow.